Yes, good morning. On behalf of the Batters Race Club, we're not going to air live this morning because the station directors have got commitments interstate. So we're recording this program and we'll run through the usual format for the Batters Race Club's program. And we're starting off with our bookmaker friend Wayne Gannon's selections for the program this afternoon at the Sunshine Coast. The Sunshine Coast is the metropolitan meeting for the day. Saturday Metropolitan status to the Sunshine Coast today. Last week, Wayne held the side together with a very good result, with Snoopy winning at about 6-1 out of his selections last week. This week, at the Sunshine Coast, in the fifth race, Wayne drew attention to Time and Again. Number 7, Time and Again, was his first selection there this morning. He then went to race 6 at the Sunshine Coast with number 1, the top weight From Within, in race 8. He also liked the top weight Sovereign Nation, race 8, number 1, Sovereign Nation, and he finished his day at the Sunshine Coast, where he's going this afternoon, with race 9, number 17, which was an emergency, but because of scratchings, will get a run. And the selection in race 9 was number 17, Kabirian, at the Sunshine Coast. We had the opportunity of talking to our other contributor, Shane Galinsky, last night. Shane only managed one placing out of his selections last week, but it was good value. And today he had 3 selections, 1 in each state. He liked at the Sunshine Coast race 8, number 4, Bergerac, race 8, number 4. Again in Sydney, he liked race 7, number 4, Flow. Race 7, number 4, Flow in Sydney. And in Melbourne, race 9, also number 4, Takedown. Race 9, number 4 in Melbourne, Takedown. It's interesting that Wayne has selected number 4 in each state today. Race 8 in the Sunshine Coast, number 4. Race 7, number 4 in Sydney. And race 9, number 4 in Takedown. That's a bit of a coincidence, isn't it? For the past week, quite a lot of activity over the past week for the Batters Race Club fraternity, but unfortunately the results were very meagre. And there was very little in the way of results. There's no winner's circle, and Eagle Farm last Saturday on the Gold Coast produced nothing. The Warwick meeting, in very hot conditions at Warwick last Saturday, saw a couple of placings with Ben Robinson and Fiona Jervis riding for Ben last Saturday at Warwick. He managed a second with Reset's Son in the Warwick meeting. Also, Deborah Ainsworth with daughter Brooke riding for her achieved another second actually, with Capital City. That was Deborah Ainsworth. Ben Robinson picked up a minor prize money cheque with a 4th with Leica Celebra. And still in Warwick last Saturday, Don Pearson managed a 3rd with our Rocky. Kelvin Hickmont went to Wandai last week, but didn't achieve any results with the 2 runners he took up there. And it was a very lean week, actually, as far as results are concerned, because on the Sunday at the Sunshine Coast, Ken Deacon managed a 4th with Argo's Revenge. And then on Wednesday at Doomben, no results came out of that. Thursday at Ipswich, saw 3 trainers, Bob Mahon, James Hepworth and Matthew John Dunn, with runners at Ipswich with no results. And yesterday, the Warwick meeting, in lieu of the Toowoomba meeting for this weekend, Warwick saw Mighty Moose running second for Ben Robinson. So with those performances, unfortunately, we don't have a star for the week this week, but the number of placings there at least filled a few gaps. And it continues today with runners at the Sunshine Coast. Diane Murphy has got 2 runners at the Sunshine Coast. The Saturday status metropolitan meeting at the Sunshine Coast today sees Diane with our only 2 runners from Bay Desert, both in race 8, number 9, that well-performed Peacock, race 8, number 9, Peacock, and race 8, number 12, Astoria, representing Diane Murphy today. It's interesting that Jeff Lloyd, top jockey Jeff Lloyd, is riding number 12 Astoria for Diane at the Sunshine Coast today. A contingent going to the Gold Coast today. It's a big day for the Australia Day meeting at the Gold Coast. And in the second race, we've got a great interest there with our own contributor, trainer Shane Galinsky taking Great Intentions to the Gold Coast in race 2, number 2, Great Intentions for Shane Galinsky this afternoon. In the 4th race, number 7, Pole Vaulter for Robert Lyford, race 4, number 7. And in race 4, number 8, also competing there, is Anakin Direxis for Kelvin Hickmont. In the 5th race at the Sunshine Coast, Smart Silly is representing Ben Robinson. And in the 6th race, Kelvin Hickmont's got 2 runners in the 6th race. Race 6, number 9, Miss Makepeace. And in race 6, number 11, the Ponster, representing Kelvin Hickmont at the Gold Coast this afternoon. We go to race 7 at the Gold Coast, where Ben Aarons has Astronomic, number 5. And in the same race, Mark Palmer has got Australian Pharaoh, number 8, in race 7 at the Gold Coast this afternoon. That's a well-named horse for Australia Day, isn't it? Australian Pharaoh. And then still at the Gold Coast, we continue there in race 8. Mega Shot is to be ridden by Brooke Ainsworth for Ben Robinson, and one more runner in that race. That's number 17, Mega Shot. Now, that's an emergency, may or may not get a run, depending on scratchings. And Rocky Halo is an emergency in that race. But Rocky Halo is way down the list. It's 9th emergency there. Number 23 for Mark Palmer. Very unlikely to get a run, unfortunately, for Mark at the Gold Coast this afternoon. A big country meeting at Kilcoy tomorrow, where we see in the 2nd race, Rewa Lad is representing Greg Cornish, number 5, and in that same race, Mark Palmer again as an emergency with Australian Pharaoh. Mark's not getting much luck with the emergencies balloting, and he's number 13 in that race at Kilcoy tomorrow, looking for a start there if he can't get one elsewhere today. In the 4th race at Kilcoy, Ben Robinson has 2 runners, Dashing Ocean, number 1, and also Dragon's Spirit in that race as well for Ben Robinson. So that's the representatives from the Beaudesert training facilities that are competing today. Sunday sees a meeting at Grafton, where Kelvin Hickmont is travelling with race 6, number 5, Red Calvary. Race 6, number 5 at Grafton, and that will be an interesting meeting there and on Monday, of course, we've got the Beaudesert meeting. The big meeting at Beaudesert on Monday sees a large contingent. We've got 72 runners in that race, including 15 local representatives from Beaudesert. There's $200,000 worth of prize money there at that meeting on Monday. For finishing off the Australia Day weekend, and all the stables that are represented include Diane Murphy, Ken Deacon, Greg Cornish has got 4 runners on Monday, Bed Robinson's got 4, Tracy Green has got a couple, Bobby Mann and Kelvin Hickmont, all supporting that meeting on Monday at the Beaudesert Aquas track. Visitors coming in on Monday for that Beaudesert meeting include representatives from the Sunshine Coast, from Deagon, from Toowoomba, Warwick, Eagle Farm, Murwillumbah, Gold Coast and Gatton. So it's very easy to see what a massive contribution to the local economy with visitors coming from all those places, with teams of owners, strappers, jockeys and other float drivers. There's a big representation coming into the Scenic Rim for that Australia Day weekend meeting at Beaudesert on Monday. Should be a great meeting, should be a great opportunity to finish off the Australia Day weekend. And we've then got upcoming races following on from there. The next races after Monday at Beaudesert will be on the Thursday, these are dates for the diary. Thursday the 14th of March is the next meeting after Monday. Thursday again on the 25th of April. Now that'll be one of the biggest meetings of the year at the Beaudesert track because of course the Anzac Day factor, and it's always been a traditionally big meeting for the Beaudesert Race Club on Thursday the 25th of April this year. We see the Anzac Day meeting coming up again under the management of the Gold Coast Turf Club operating these meetings now for the Bow Desert Race Club, and that should be a great promotion there on the Anzac Day weekend of Thursday the 25th of April. The next meeting and the last meeting of the financial year sees Saturday the 22nd of June as the Bow Desert Cup meeting. So that's yet another date for the diary there, Saturday the 22nd of June. We see the Bow Desert Cup meeting. That usually corresponds with the Stradbroke Day, which is of course the biggest meeting of the year in thoroughbred racing in Queensland, and that will be back at Eagle Farm this year for the 22nd of June or thereabouts, with the Bow Desert meeting taking place on that day. Before that, we get to the May 18th meeting on Saturday the 18th of May. The local Hibernian Race Club has its annual meeting. The Bow Desert track is made available to the Hibernian Race Club for Saturday the 18th of May. That's a massive meeting for the Hibernian Club. It's a great charitable contribution made by the Hibernian Club. It's been going on for many years, and that will see the Bow Desert facilities used by the Hibernian Club on Saturday the 18th of May. So that's a few dates to log in the diary. And we've got a lot of activity coming up, and it should be great meetings, those ones we just mentioned. Don't forget to keep in touch with the Bow Desert Race Club activities through the Race Club website. And of course, this particular program we do is now on Facebook, facebook.com/racing radio show. And we look forward to keeping in touch with our listeners through the online facility there. We look forward also to talking to you again next Saturday morning when things will be back to normal, with the directors back in town for the FM 101.5 administration. And we thank the listeners who've been able to tune into this online today, and look forward to talking to you again next Saturday morning. Thank the listeners for having us at your place, and look forward to talking to you, as I say, next Saturday morning at the usual time. So with that, we'll sign off and look forward to a great afternoon's racing. There's a lot of interesting racing in the 3 states today, with listed races in each state. Black type races will make for a very interesting afternoon.